Okay, welcome to the laws of logarithms. Alrighty there. So we have to recall the domain. So the argument of the logarithm has to be greater than 0. The base also has to be greater than 0. And these are laws. They could be called rules. I also call them identities because they are true, absolutely true, no matter what we put in the M, N, or B. As long as it's greater than 0, these are always true. And that's an identity is not an equation per se. So I use the 3 bars. 6 or half a dozen. Okay, so let's just look at some examples. This is 9 times x, so that's a product. So I'll separate it like that. I also need to remember the properties that we talked about before. So the base of the logarithm and the argument are identical. That can be simplified to 1. Next example, I'm dividing. So when we do the divide, we're going to separate it in with a minus, 2 logarithms with a minus. I also need to pay attention to this is the common logarithm. What's the base of the common logarithm? That is correct. So I've got the 100 is 10 squared, base 10. That can simplify like thus. Next example. All right, so you've got to know those exponent laws. There's a bunch of them. So look them up if you're not familiar or you're feeling a little weak on them. But the root we turn into a fractional exponent, and then the new law is that exponent becomes a coefficient in front of the logarithm. Like that. Let's look at some bigger combos. So when you've got these bigger ones, try to identify the big rule, which of the 3 you do first. This one we're going to do the product rule first. So I'll separate the logarithms by adding, and then I see I've got exponents I need to deal with. The 4 goes in front, the cube root becomes that fractional exponent, and then it goes in front of just its own logarithm. Next example. Alrighty, quotient. So that's the big rule we'll do first. Separate that minus. I've got a square root, turn it into an exponent. There's also a 25 times the y cubed, so I need to deal with that. There's a minus in front of that logarithm, so I need the brackets to make sure that minus goes to both of the new logarithms. I've got exponents in front of everything. I can deal with that. I've got a log base 5 of 5 squared, so I can simplify that like we did the 100 earlier. All righty. Last example. This one I'm going to need the power rule first. The square root is an exponent, and I'm going to move it in front. We've done that in the past, so I just did it in one step there. And then I've got a quotient. Now that 1/2 is going to be in front of everything all the way to the end. So I'm going to just put parentheses around everything. I've got another divide, so I separate it with the minus. I got a YZ, that's a product. I got a cube, that's an exponent. I deal with all those things like that. All righty.